Day one of the IPL Auctions 2022 done and dusted. Let's talk to the management and find out how the day has gone for us here at RCB. Mike, it's been a tough day for you. Day one is done and dusted. I'm going to begin by asking you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with the auctions?
Oh, look, things have gone to plan. If you're talking 1 to 10, probably around about an 8. We're pretty happy with the balance we've got. There'll be 1 or 2 where we might have been nice to have saved a couple more crore.
I'm going to address the elephant in the room. This is something that the fans have been talking about. A lot of people have had questions about Yuzi. Let's talk about him because he's been such a long-standing member of this team, and it was a different story today.
Yeah, look, it was a real challenge for us looking at the auction dynamics and where Yuzi came out in the auction. We would have loved to have got Yuzi back in the auction. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We felt there were 3 quality leg spinners. Obviously Hesson, Rahul Chahar and obviously Yuzi. So obviously there are others, but the fact Hesson was multi-skilled also gave us the option in terms of his ability. He can bat anywhere between 5 and 8. But the main problem was, in terms of getting Yuzi back, is that where he came in the auction, if we waited till that long and we got blown out of the water from a price point of view, and we knew that there were at least 3 or 4 sides looking for a leg spinner at that time, we also knew our budget wouldn't be as big. So the risk for us was that we ended up with no quality leg spinner. So we discussed it the days before and went through different scenarios, and we hoped that we were able to still generate some revenue to have a crack at Yuzi, but we just weren't. So once we were able to lock away Hesson, obviously that changed the plan. So look, we love Yuzi, but Hesson is a high quality player, and as I said, he provides some real balance for us.
The other question that I had on my mind was, how is this dynamic playing out between an auction being with 8 teams versus 10 teams? Because it looked like a lot of the moments, a lot of teams looked very startled with what was going on.
Well, I think the challenge is that when you almost go to the hammer, there are obviously a number of other teams that potentially have a huge purse, and they can come in at any time. And the reality is you're all looking for the same types of players, whether they be left-arm spinners, whether they be left-handed middle order bats, whatever it is. And there are some roles which are really in short supply. So you saw the Indian all-rounders, seam bowling all-rounders all go for well over 10 crore. So you know that if you don't lock one of those away early, you're going to be under the pump in terms of the other teams trying to chase your tail. And that was the same with the quality leg spinners as well. And there are a number of other roles where you have heaps of players. So there's no point actually pushing. Someone like DK, we're after a middle order Indian player who plays pace really well to death. That's a really small group, especially if one of them keeps and experience. So you've got the odd role where you need to commit a reasonable price tag.
Malolan, firstly, congratulations. We're done with day one of the auctions. Tell us a little bit about Anuj Rawat.
Oh, well, he's a very exciting talent to start off with. He's been part of IPL teams for the last 2 years, and he's someone who we've kept an eye on for maybe the last 3 seasons. He gives us that flexibility in batting where we could slot him anywhere between 1 to 6. And the fact that he could double up as a keeper, adding to that the fact that he's a left-hander. And the most important thing, he's 21 years old, so he's someone for the future. And we expect big things of him. So he gives us a lot of flexibility, a lot of power. He could do multiple roles for us. So a very exciting prospect, and I'm glad we could lock him in.
So I know you've been involved with the auction process now for a really long time, considering you scout talent for RCB. One player who you were gutted that RCB didn't get at the end of today's auction?
That's a tough one, but to be honest, everything has gone to plan. Obviously, we would have loved to have all our RCB players back. We've said that, we've documented that very well. We tried our best. We also have to keep in mind the auction dynamics. People say a whole lot of the cliche of the auction dynamics, but it does play a lot of, it has a lot of impact. So you have to plan depending on what the lots are, when the player comes up. My only feeling is that I would have loved to have our RCB players back, but we also have to play with the budgets and keep in mind the auction dynamics.
That's a very interesting point that you make, because I was speaking with Sanjay earlier, and he said now that the teams have gone from 8 to 10, the focus on the spins has changed a little bit. Do you want to tell us about that?
Absolutely. So all these years is so used to having 8 teams, and
Right.
you know what the usual spend per player is. Clearly, what's happened in tonight isn't the norm, or
Right.
one wouldn't say is the norm.
Right.
Where you do expect maybe 20-30 variance in price up or down, but it's gone beyond the 20-30 variance on an average tonight. So you have to, now we learn from this, from
Yeah.
the 10-team IPL in
Yeah.
the future. This is the first time, so every team is faced challenge. So it's not only RCB, but we're very glad.
So have you had conversations with the guys
Oh, yes,
inside
yes.
there?
We've spoken to many people who
Yeah.
understand the prices at which the players have gone today.
Yeah.
But yes, like I said, they're all very good players, but clearly the 10-team IPL, the 2 extra teams have made it a little challenging. But I'm very glad to say that we've stuck to our plans
Yeah.
and got all, if not most, if not all. Yeah, we've got all. I think. Yeah, coming to think of it, which our fans will see later.
Right.
But-
That's awesome. Now, we finished 91 players, if I'm right. There are about 70 tomorrow who go through the entire auction, and after that, there is an accelerated auction for which you need to submit names by 9 a.m.
Yep.
So it's going to be an all-nighter for you, I guess.
Yeah, that was the plan, which was get the team on day 1 and
Right.
plan for the second day based on what's happened. There are a lot of teams with a lot of money, but at the same time we've almost locked in our 4 overseas starters. We
That's
should say
right.
that, and there are teams who still haven't got their overseas starters. Got
That's
a lot
right.
of work. So our focus is going to be on different places for different spots, for different roles. And there's a few teams actually have headache. Even though they have a lot of money, might be in a position where they have to fill their playing 11. So we're at a good place now.
Right.
It is going to be just to see where we can get better now.
How does the work with the data scientists go tonight? Is there going to be something different that you're going to do as compared to what you've done to the run-up?
Yeah, I mean, it's all nice to say data scientists, scouting, coaching. All those things are nice, but I think what RCB, a big shift RCB has done is where they don't use them as hard lines, they're guidelines to us
Right.
to make decisions. There were times where we had to
Improvise?
improvise and pivot
Lovely.
inside the auction
Yeah.
today, but it is really dynamic. So like I said, these are all very nice terms. They do help us make decisions.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're decision aiders. They're not decision makers. Not the scouting, not the data, not the experts. We triangulate everything and finally come up what we think is best for RCB.
Congratulations, Prathmesh sir, on day 1 of the auctions. How are you feeling?
Thanks. I'm feeling very confident. We had a game plan and we executed as per the game plan.
Right.
No surprises.
Yeah.
Right. We were very much in control, and I would say I'm very, very pleased with the outcome.
How are those hands feeling after lifting the paddle a few times?
Well, the paddle wasn't too heavy, but the amounts were certainly very, very heavy.
Yeah.
And I haven't done this before, right? So, but feeling very good.
It was your first time at the table. How different is this from the pressures that you face in the corporate world and suddenly being in the middle of an auction?
Well, in the corporate world also what happens is you deal with so many variables. You
Right.
deal with competition, and competition is attacking you from all the sides. So that part was pretty simple.
Right.
So, in the corporate world also, you are fighting your competitors every day.
Right.
So I felt completely at home,
Okay.
relaxed.
Right.
Right. But the important thing is that we had a plan.
Right.
And whether here or in the corporate world, if you don't have a plan and you just go out there and you're firing bullets without ammo, doesn't work. But I think we hit most of our ammo on target today.
Tomorrow is another big day. What's your message to the fans who are watching?
Look, we've still got some business to do tomorrow, so
Right.
we've still got 4 more overseas. We've still got a number of backup players, potentially a starter depending on the balance we go. But we've been able to get the majority of our work done in terms of high quality domestic core, which is really important for us and something that all the sides will be looking to do.
Right.
But we're getting pretty close to that.